Hey, Trailblazers. In this episode, we're sharing how to validate an offer and guarantee that it sells before you have to build it out with Josiah Ryan. So stick around. If you want to build a legitimate, profitable online business without shiny objects, without the hypey gimmicks, and without the stress and overwhelm, if you want to make more money without having to be present online all day, every day, pumping out content that nobody sees and hustling DMs to generate leads and sales, then this is the place for you. Welcome to the Digital Trailblazer Podcast, your online business university, where you'll learn how ordinary people start from ground zero with no influence, no email list or audience to sell to, and no business or marketing experience, and go from working 9-to-5 jobs to building successful 6- and 7-figure online businesses and all the steps in between. Learn the strategies that worked and what didn't. Learn the mistakes that they made and how to avoid them, and then learn their plans for scaling their businesses and taking things to the next level. All so that you can build your business faster and easier and make more money without sacrificing the things that are important to you in your life. I'm your host, Leah Ray Getz, and with me is my husband, Todd. Now let's get to it with today's guest. Welcome, Josiah. We're super excited to have you with us today. We're going to dive deep into this topic. Todd and I love all things offers and putting all this stuff together. But before we do that, give a little context to let everybody know what exactly you do. So they know the background here.
Cool. Well, first off, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be on the show. I did some research and absolutely love everything that you're doing on the podcast. Got a pretty extensive career in digital marketing. I've been doing this since 2017. That's really when I went full into business. I started with a side hustle, just kind of building websites for small business owners, all that kind of stuff. Transitioned into doing that full time. I bought a program that literally changed my life. I got some great mentorship on how to, go from a freelancer to really truly running like full-on SEO agency. So that's what I did in 2017. I went from, just doing part-time kind of freelancer stuff, got into my own SEO agency. And from there, and we're going to get into this, I'm sure, throughout the podcast, all that kind of stuff. From there, though, I've ran my own businesses and very, very extensive knowledge of digital marketing. And so what I do at this point, it's kind of a unique skill set. It takes a lot of things that I've pulled from just all throughout the entrepreneurs atmosphere of just being around this stuff. What I do at this point is I do something called fractional CMO consulting. And basically what that means is, I step between small business owners and their marketing departments. Because oftentimes when you're a small business owner, you've got 1,000 things you're taking care of. Your HR department, your finance department, you've got your labor or your teams or your service or whatever that looks like. And then you've got your marketing departments. And so basically what I do is I step between the owner and all of their vendors, their SEO companies, digital marketing agencies, all this kind of stuff. I really help them to get clear on the vision of their business. I help them to come up with their marketing plans, and I take all that chaos off their plate so that they can focus on what they do the best, which is oftentimes it's either the labor or running their teams. And I'd really just simplify their life by stepping in, providing leadership and direction as it pertains to their marketing efforts. So that's what I do.
Wonderful. So let's dive deep into this whole concept. How do you make sure that an offer is actually going to sell before you create it?
Okay. So meat and potatoes, let's get into it. So I think there's a lot of ways to do that. Market testing is so important. I think the very first thing that you really have to do to be clear on whatever it is that you offer, you have to get clear on whatever that outcome is that you want to provide to your main customers, whatever that looks like for you. So you got to get clear on your niche. That's the first thing. The second thing that you have to do is put the offer in front of people and allow the market to interact with that offer. A lot of times us as digital marketers, what we'll do is we'll just go up on Facebook, we'll throw out a couple of ads, we'll throw out some flyers, we'll try to find angles that resonate with the market that we're trying to connect with. And that is, the traditional way of basically testing an offer, and then you work through that process and then you pick up the sales and all that kind of stuff. But what I've come up with, and it's kind of a unique kind of twist on this. I started with rank and rent. So rank and rent is basically where you build a website you'll go ahead, you'll get it ranked in Google. So you do a bunch of search engine optimization, you set up a Google business listing, whatever you have to do to basically get a website showing up on Google. And you do this for all sorts of different types of local services. So for instance, artificial turf is a niche that a lot of guys do this in, a lot of guys and girls. They'll throw up a website and it will advertise, like for instance, I'm here in Sarasota, it would be like Sarasota artificial turf would be the concept of the website. And a lot of like digital marketers who are in the rank and rent space, what they do is they'll set up the website, they get it ranked into Google, and they'll actually start getting leads coming in. And the idea behind that is that once the leads start coming in, they're going to call all the artificial turf companies, in Sarasota and say, hey, I've got some leads coming in. I'd love to work out some sort of a deal where this could be mutually beneficial for both of us. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're generating the leads and then you're basically either setting up some sort of affiliate agreement or you're just selling the leads outright to these local businesses.
100%. You nailed it. And you can do this through pay per lead if you want to do it that way. You can do flat rate retainers. Oftentimes what I would do when I was doing the lead gen stuff, lead gen, rank and rant, same thing. It's just kind of a synonymous term. But what I would do is, I would always start just low. This is marketing. This is sales. You don't want to ask the person to marry you the first 5-minute conversation. You got to ease them into a little bit. So we would start a lot of times with pay per lead type agreement. Just say, hey, I threw up this website. I'm getting some leads. I don't have anybody to give them to. Would you guys want to buy them for something just real cheap? Honestly, like $25 a lead, $25-$50. Just show them that your leads are like 1,000 times better than anything they're going to get from Home Advisor or Thumbtack or any of these other types of things that they're paying for leads for. When you do the strategy, you get the real deal because you're getting those solid SEO leads. So you start with oftentimes just a pay per lead type deal. Once the business owner closes a couple deals, from there, you say, why don't we just make this easy? Instead of me tracking the leads, this, that, the other thing, why don't we just make this a flat rate thing? You cut them a little bit of a deal, so it'd be a little bit lower than what the monthly thing would be. And boom, you got a client, move on to the next one. So that's basically rank and rent in a nutshell. That's where I cut my teeth.
So with the rank and rent, is it only just ranking the website or do you run paid ads to generate the leads as well?
Good question. So you can absolutely do PPC and paid ads to make this strategy work. The challenge with that is you got to be tight on your numbers and you really have to know your niche. I'll be very candid on this. I've gone way far upside down testing that model of the PPC, generating lead, and then flipping it to the business owners, trying to give them results in advance. That's what we're basically doing with this strategy. The issue with that is when you're paying $50, $60 a lead, to get it off Google, and, you're working with a contractor who really hasn't seen the total value of what you can do. It's very easy to start throwing $500, $600, $700, $800, $1,000 into the leads without getting a deal done. So you want to be very careful with how that works. At the same time, there is an element of speed. So what I would say, if anybody's even considering this model, or if they're even thinking about getting into this kind of a thing, what I would really recommend is if you go that route, make sure that you have your service partner lined up before you start investing the money into it. Already have pre-negotiate your pay-per-lead deal or whatever that looks like, so that you know your numbers, you know your targets, you can figure out your CAC, and then you can flip those leads for a profit. It is a way to go faster, but let's be honest, who doesn't want free SEO leads coming in? You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want with those.
Yeah, and I will say I've done SEO for our digital product business, and I've also done local SEO for a martial arts school that I attend. The local SEO is so much easier, and we can do it for free. I don't have to pay for backlinks or things like that. It is so much easier to rank that local website than it is our website for our digital products business. So I can definitely see how this could be very profitable once you get this website ranking. So how does this translate to validating your own offer before you actually build it out?
So here's the beauty of it, is once you have that website ranking, you can do anything you want with it. You can test whatever kind of an offer you would want, and you're going to get the traffic coming in. And so when you own the asset, you can literally message anything you would possibly want. And you're basically playing with house money at that point because you already own the ranking asset. So, it's just like conversion rate optimization. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that, tweaking your website and some of these types of things. It's the exact same strategy. You're just figuring out what works, what are people clicking on, what's resonating with them, what languages, converting more leads, all that kind of stuff. And you can go a lot of different directions. If you own that asset, like you're not stuck into a box. I think that's more so what I'm trying to say. And, it's just like anything else too. It's lead generation. At the end of the day, it works because you got leads coming through. If you don't have leads coming through, well, there's an issue. You see what I'm saying with that?
So you're building out the website, you're proving that you can generate leads with it. And at the beginning, you're just selling those leads off to somebody else, or you've got some sort of affiliate structure with them. And then if you're generating enough leads, that's the indication that you may actually want to build that business yourself and just take the leads for yourself. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. So that's excellent transition. So that actually leads me to my next stage of entrepreneurship, which is I built one of these lead gen websites. I was actually chilling on the beach one day. It was over in Anna Maria Island, Florida, and just eating some tacos with the wife. And all of a sudden I see all these golf carts driving around and they got logos on them. And I'm just like sitting here. I'm like, where are all these golf carts coming from? What even is this? And all these people look happy and they've got their sunglasses and, beach gear and all this kind of stuff. And so sure enough, I went home that day and I saw, oh my gosh, there's these companies that actually rent golf carts to local tourists. So it looks like one of these things where it looks like a lot of tourists come here. They stay for a week or whatever on their beach vacation. They need transportation. And so they rent a golf cart because that's like 1,000 times more fun than renting a car. And something just clicked. And so what I did is I threw up a lead gen, one of these rank and rent style websites. My total plan was that I was just going to do what I always do. I was going to rank the website, call the golf cart rental companies if I get some leads coming through and see if we could work out a deal. But literally within 3-4 months of me basically throwing this website up, I was getting about 10 to 15 phone calls per day. That's when I realized I might be onto something. It's time to go buy some golf carts. So that's what I did. And basically the rest was history from there that, we built a golf cart rental business and the customers were already baked in. The lead gen, I didn't even have to think twice about it because I already had the ranking asset. I own the power, right? That's a big, important thing with this kind of a model. And yeah, you want to talk about validating an offer. Well, here's a really easy way to do it. Just get the leads coming in. That's validation enough, right? And then build a product or service around whatever those leads are that you already have.
That model is very similar to what a lot of influencers do with affiliate links. If you've got a YouTube channel or an Instagram page or something else like that, that's got a bunch of followers, you got a bunch of traffic coming in, and you're doing affiliate marketing for Amazon products or whatever it is, right? It might be a weight loss supplement or could be anything that could be white labeled. And you throw up an affiliate link and you notice that, oh, wow, well, this protein shake supplement I'm getting dozens of sales per day on this from my affiliate link. Why don't I just take that and white label it, make my own product instead of getting only 5 or 7% of an affiliate sale? With supplements, that's a huge profit margin that you get on those 50, 60, I don't know what it is, but it's pretty good. Now you're getting almost all the profit from that. So yeah, it's a very similar concept of just building it first, getting the traffic, of validating that the interest is there, and then building out the offer on the back end. I know for digital products, it works a bit differently because we've kind of done something similar, Leah, right?
Yeah, we actually do this a very similar type strategy with digital products. So a lot of folks will kind of lock themselves away for 6 months or something and create this amazing digital course or coaching program or something. And then they come bring it to the marketplace and try to launch it. And then they actually realize maybe people don't actually want that, or it's maybe positioned a way that doesn't get people enticed to make a purchase. And so what we really like to do is to help people do more of a live launch type strategy with this, where you get a really detailed outline, exactly what you're going to cover, all the lessons, modules, all the good stuff, but you don't sit down and actually create the individual elements. You just get a really good outline. So you know exactly what you're doing. And then you focus on more of like the marketing message, the transformation you're going to help them achieve, all those core things. And then you start generating leads and building interest and then selling this and then delivering it live. So say it's, sell it on a live webinar, and then it starts next Tuesday. And next Tuesday, we're going to do module 1 live. And then you can either deliver it live on Zoom, teaching on Zoom, or you could just even drop a pre-recorded video that you recorded earlier that day at a certain time. So a similar type idea in the info product space that is very popular, very common, and it helps people not waste a ton of time putting together an offer that's not actually going to go anywhere.
I love that. You guys, that is seriously a money strategy. And all this stuff works. Todd, you totally nailed it when you said that, a lot of these influencers and stuff will use this model. If you look at even Amazon Basics, right? What is Amazon Basics? Well, that didn't exist until a couple of years ago when Bezos got pretty smart. He looked at all that search traffic that he was getting. He was looking at what was selling. And so what did he do? He launched his own brand. And so what you guys and what I'm talking about, I think we're all pretty much talking about the same thing, which is number one, success leaves clues. And once you own that data, you're going to be able to move so much faster. And so I love to hear that you guys are just throwing out these offers and then doing a quick delivery service on the back end of it. Like that is the game right there. And that's kind of what I was touching base on those Facebook ads, at the beginning here. You can throw up an offer. Like you guys, we're entrepreneurs. Nobody said that we're not allowed to throw out 1,000 different offers if we want to. Nobody said that we can't do that. So why don't we? I think it's because we get in our heads, we get stuck. And especially in the age of AI, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but it's icon.com. Have you guys heard of this new AI thing? Oh my gosh, check it out. I promise you, you're going to love it. So this is so crazy, the age we live in, you guys. Icon.com, you go in there, and you literally just tell Icon, it's just like ChatGPT. You go in there, you tell it, hey, this is the product or service that I want to offer. It does all this background research. It goes into the meta ads database. It looks at what's winning. It looks at what's not. And then it literally whips up ads for you and ad ideas that I kid you not, it blows my mind every time I use this thing. It whips up the ads, and these ads are literally as if I hired somebody off Upwork or I hired one of my freelancers to give me like a banging creative for an ad. It will make this for you. And all you have to do, you can run all these little mini tests. Maybe you throw $100 at each one and whatever. You're just trying to figure out which one gets the most traffic, the most clicks, get that data. You guys, you have just seriously increase that speed to lead situation and validated the offer exactly as we're talking about. This is exactly what you guys are doing. And I'm excited for you genuinely that you could really throw some gas on the fire with some of this AI stuff. So I love it, man. That's awesome. Good for you guys.
Yeah. This whole process actually reminds me of one of our very first episodes that we had here at the Digital Trailblazer podcast. And I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he was really, really cool. And he was super into car audio systems. And so just because it was a passion, he started a YouTube channel, and he would go to car shows and show these really cool car audio systems. Well, he started to get traction on his channel, and he's like, hey, you're not going to do affiliate links. So he starts selling through affiliates, the different stuff that he was showing off. He would have affiliate links where people could purchase it. And then he realized, well, look at all of this awesome traffic. And then he started selling it himself. So he ended up, years later, now he's got a massive, massive warehouse. He's got his own product line from his specific brand, and he's got an 8-figure business, and he's just crushing it. And it started with, building the audience first, and then just going where it led from there, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think that was Jonathan Price, if I've got the correct episode 24, Jonathan Price.
Yeah, it was a good one. Very cool.
I'll check that out for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think what kind of a takeaway that I want for the audience today is the importance of traffic. If you are trying to build a business, traffic is the lifeblood. It's the beginning of everything. Like, you have to get people's attention, whether it's a brick and mortar business, whether it's completely online. If you don't have people's attention, you're clearly not going to be generating leads. You're not going to be generating sales. And so this is something that everyone needs to figure out. And if people are getting, at the beginning stages, focus on traffic. Like, figure out how to get people's attention. When you have the power of traffic, like, virtually anything's possible. You can do whatever you want with it from there. So I think this is awesome. Josiah, this has been such a fun conversation. I love it. Thank you so much for being with us today. If people want to check you out and learn more about you, where should they head?
If you guys want to follow me, I have a podcast that is at the Christian Biz Pod. It's Christian Business Podcast. I basically coach a bunch of Christian business owners. We talk about How can we not go crazy in this crazy world that we live in? Jesus is the answer for us and for the audience. So, hey, if that resonates with you, check us out. You can find us on all the big ones. The other thing is if you're looking for, maybe you're a small business owner and you've got a million hats that you're wearing, you're juggling all your departments and you're wondering why your business is not growing at the speed of which you want it to grow. Go to info or go to compedgeconsulting.com. That's www.comp. It stands for competitive edge consulting, compedgeconsulting.com. I do CMO consulting. I want to take stuff off your plate. I want you to operate in your zone of excellence so that you can finally build this business the way that you always dreamed of since day one. I will seriously take off a bunch of crap from your plate. All right. You probably have a million vendors that you're dealing with. You got your SEO company. You've got your social media managers. You've got your radio ads. You've got so many different things. Hopefully you're working with Digital Trailblazer to get some of that stuff in place. But it can be a lot when you're meeting and you're leading the vision and you do all these things. And so basically, I just want to give you guys some leadership. I will give you the strategies that will generate the leads. I'll tell you exactly how many leads per month you need. I'll come up with strategies to make sure that you have those leads so that we can grow steadily and push this business in the direction you want it to go. And yeah, that's compedgeconsulting.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Josiah.
Awesome. Thank you guys. God bless. Take care. Have a wonderful day.
You've been listening to the Digital Trailblazer podcast. For show notes and information about today's guest, head to digitaltrailblazer.com. Now, if you love this episode, if you got some value, make sure you leave us a review and subscribe. And be sure to share this episode with anyone you know who could use help to build their business. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.